This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Breaking overnight, an ordeal lasting much of Wednesday is finally over this morning. The suspect accused of shooting and wounding multiple police officers is finally in custody. What we know so far coming up.
They say he flashed a badge and was looking for drugs. RTV6 talks to the couple who saw it all go down just before a state lawmaker was arrested.
And regardless of the economy, they are always in demand. We'll show you a program getting students ready for an industry that's always hiring Hoosiers. It's 5 o'clock on your Thursday morning. Good morning to you. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is with us this morning, and he has some great news in the forecast. This is the day to get out and maybe go for a walk or a bike ride, right?
Yeah, you know, it's probably the best weather day of the week simply because the humidity is probably the lowest today. Kind of builds back in already starting tomorrow and into the weekend. So, yeah, get out there and enjoy. You noticed the change already yesterday evening once the front went through. This morning, once again, we're dealing with a little bit of patchy fog. It is not as widespread or as dense as it was yesterday when many locations were down below 1 mile. But up north of Fort Wayne area where they had some rainfall yesterday, that's where the visibilities are the lowest. And they may start to drop a little towards Hartford City over into the Marion area. So if you're traveling up I-69 or you live in that area, just be aware of that. But otherwise, it's not a widespread problem for us this morning. 64 in Bloomington, 65 in Indy, 63 in Logansport, Frankfort. You're at 62 degrees, so pretty comfortable with the low humidity. Skies are clear, and that's the way they remain throughout the morning hours. Then this afternoon, we'll turn it partly cloudy, but it should be another nice day for us here. A little cooler than yesterday, 76 degrees by the noon hour. Then eventually high temperatures, Lauren, topping off in the low 80s.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a live look at our Traffic Now map. You can see no crashes around the metro area, so let's plan out your drive. Heading in from the south side of town right now, no delays here along State Road 37 northbound. A 13-minute commute from State Road 144 to I-465. Over here, heading through Johnson County up to downtown on I-65 northbound, no issues. An 18-minute commute from the Whiteland Road exit up to I-70 at the north split. Let's take a live look right now on the near east side of town. This is I-70 and Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. Traffic in that area is picking up a little bit already at this early hour. Traveling up to speed, we'll let you know if there are any crashes or delays. Now to breaking news we're following this morning. A tense standoff that led to gunfire and multiple police officers wounded, and it appears to be finally over.
Police in Philadelphia finally able to take a man who had opened fire on officers into custody. Now, this all started around 4:30 Wednesday afternoon when officers were trying to serve a warrant for a narcotics arrest. Officers were inside the home when that suspect started firing. The suspect barricaded himself inside as officers returned fire. Bullets ricocheting off nearby homes as officers took cover behind parked cars.
Was able to successfully extract the 2 police officers that were trapped upstairs, as well as 3 prisoners. They were all taken out safely.
We're thankful. I'm a little angry about someone having all that weaponry and all that firepower, but we'll get to that another day. It's all about the officers and their families right now.
Well, a SWAT unit was eventually able to get inside the home and capture the shooter. At least 9 officers were injured, 6 of them with gunshot wounds. Fortunately, all the officers are expected to recover.
Also this morning, 2 men are in the hospital after a shooting on the far east side of Indianapolis. The shooting happened just before 11:30 last night in an apartment complex on Timber Ridge Drive. That's near North Franklin Road and East 21st Street. Metro Police tell us both shooting victims are stable and expected to recover. Police did not say what led to the gunfire, and they have not released information on a possible suspect. Working for you, we have new details involving a state lawmaker accused of drunk driving and impersonating law enforcement.
A couple tells us that Democratic State Representative Dan Forstall flashed a badge and claimed that he was looking for drug dealers. Call 6 Chief Investigator Rafael Sanchez broke this story, and he has more on what led to that lawmaker's arrest.
He didn't just show us a badge. He said, I'm real deal, I'm legit. I need to know information.
James McGuire says he was walking with his fiancée and 2-year-old when state lawmaker Dan Forstall showed them a badge in their South Franklin Road neighborhood on Saturday night.
He approached us and said that he was looking for drug dealers to turn in because today was his last day to turn in a drug dealer, or the feds were going to come and raid our whole entire neighborhood. That seemed very fishy to me.
When he drove off, McGuire took these pictures of the red vehicle the man was driving and called 911 at 9:04 p.m. to report a police impersonator.
I've seen a lot of police officers in my days, and he just never 1 second screamed police officer.
McGuire is an Uber driver, and it just happens that he drove to the Blue Moon Bar and Grill on Saturday night, where yet again he ran into Forrestal. He says Forrestal did not recognize him, but he remembered the car and the man.
He walks up to me as well and says, "Hey, would you happen to know where to get some party favors?"
McGuire says he believed Forrestal, who's a lawmaker and Indianapolis firefighter, was looking for drugs. And from the bar, McGuire called 911 on his cell phone once again, this time at 11:39 p.m. Minutes later, Metro Police pulled over Forrestal, and the police report shows the vehicle license plate matches the one McGuire photographed in his neighborhood.
To go as far as asking people for drugs and impersonating a police, he didn't just show us a badge. He said, "I'm real deal, I'm legit. I need to know information." That's not making a mistake. That's you acting outside of your jurisdiction as a firefighter, as a lawmaker, as a citizen, period.
Working for you in Indianapolis, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
Rafael, thank you. Call 6 Investigates emailed and left a voicemail with Forrestal and has yet to hear back. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office formally charged Forrestal today on several criminal charges, including impersonation of a public servant, resisting law enforcement, and operating a vehicle while intoxicated. A hearing on Forrestal's case has not been scheduled. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will seek a special prosecutor in this case, and that's because Forrestal has made campaign contributions to Prosecutor Terry Curry and worked as one of Curry's campaign volunteers.
At 5:07, the man accused of being a longtime drug kingpin in Indianapolis took the witness stand in his own defense. Richard Grundy was called to testify by lawyers at his federal trial in Evansville. Grundy and 4 co-defendants are on trial for an alleged drug trafficking operation. But he is most famous locally for avoiding a conviction on previous state charges involving several murders. Grundy's first trial in Indianapolis last month ended in a mistrial after a violation of a court order involving the personal information of members of the jury. That's the main reason prosecutors sought to move the retrial to Evansville.
An update now on the plan to dig up the famous grave of legendary gangster John Dillinger. Crown Hill Cemetery now says it's against the plan to exhume Dillinger's body. Crown Hill released a statement saying that the safety and integrity of the cemetery is threatened by this upcoming exhumation. There are also many concerns about the process disrupting the peaceful setting for people who are there to visit their loved ones. 2 of Dillinger's relatives claim that they have evidence the remains at Crown Hill may not be those of Dillinger. However, the cemetery says other relatives of Dillinger do not agree with the exhumation. Now, the process to dig up the grave will be part of the History Channel documentary.
Staying cool in the summer and warm in the winter, that's made possible by our HVAC systems in both our homes and businesses.
That's right, and in Pike Township High School, the students there are getting hands-on experience on how to fix those systems and potentially land a job in the process.
Today in Hiring Hoosiers, our Erin Lish joins us live. She is actually inside the RTV6 HVAC system room. I don't think I can say I've ever been in there.
No.
Erin, what can students get out of a program like this?
Well, you know, this is a very massive room here. You're not going to see this type of HVAC system inside your home. You'll most likely see it inside of a business. But these students, they learn how to work on these massive systems as well as those residential so they can repair and redo that replacement work. So this is a 2-level course here. They start off learning how to install and maintain and repair all of those systems there. And they also learn how to read blueprints, figure out those troubleshooting mechanical and electrical problems. And in this 2-year process, they actually get credit hours through Ivy Tech and certifications through both OSHA and the EPA. Students say these courses provide them options for their future careers.
Because even if I do go to college, this is a good fallback plan I can go into. I can always go back to it and work for companies because now I have my license in it. And this is a skill for life that I can always use.
Looking at the growth of the HVAC industry nationwide, the federal government is projecting a 15% growth from just a few years ago in 2016 to 2026 in mechanic and installers, which is much faster than the average for all other occupations. And in the next half hour, we're going to talk a little bit more with the instructor of this program over at the Pike Career Center and how many jobs are actually available right now in the HVAC industry. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Aaron. Hey, can you tweak with that a little bit? It's kind of cold in here right now. A 25-year-old Fishers woman called a consumer's worst nightmare has been ordered to serve nearly 5 years in federal prison. Investigators say for 6 years, Ariel Wilkerson used stolen identities to open credit cards and take over financial accounts, often targeting the same people. On Wednesday, a federal judge gave Wilkerson a 57-month sentence. Prosecutors say the punishment sends a strong message that people who commit identity theft will face real consequences. It is 5:11 right now. Todd, you've got to check out our forecast. A gorgeous day ahead.
Yeah, you know, yesterday we were dealing with all the dense fog and the school delays that started rolling in around this time. There is a little bit of patchy fog out there this morning, but it's primarily up towards the Fort Wayne area. I'll just emphasize and kind of point out as you work your way towards Hartford City, over towards the Marion area, you may get into a little bit of fog here this morning, but it should not be super dense, although in Lafayette, this visibility has dropped quite a bit with the update at the top of the hour. So there is some fog out there. Just be aware of that in northern locations. Otherwise, skies are completely clear as we expand out here. There's not a whole lot of precipitation around, some showers up in Michigan. So as we work our way throughout the morning, your commute will be completely dry with temperatures that will be in the 60s across the area, eventually into the low 80s. The humidity is low here throughout the day today, making it a pretty nice Thursday. The heat, though, that does return for the weekend. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Fears of a recession send the stock market plunging. Next, what's causing the fear and who the president said is to blame.
And sometimes they're locked out, sometimes they're locked in. Just ahead, problems at a dog park lead one Eastside resident to call RTV6 for help.
And here's the live look at your commute on the south side, 512 here, and it looks like everything is traveling smoothly at this early hour. This is part of that detour route because you cannot go eastbound on I-465 from this spot. So just a heads up to your morning commute. We'll continue to keep you updated. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Weekdays at 9 on RTV6.
Welcome back. It is 5:15. The stock market had its worst day of the year on Wednesday. That and other global economic numbers are raising some fears that a recession could be coming soon.
The U.S. economy has had a record run of growth beginning in the second year of the administration of former President Obama. Now, President Trump laying the blame for the recession talk on a number of factors. On Wednesday, the markets were rattled by an inverted bond yield curve, something that has correctly predicted past recessions. The Trump administration is blaming the Federal Reserve, though others say President Trump's pursuit of high tariffs isn't helping.
The underlying fundamentals of the U.S. economy are solid as a rock. All we need to do is get the Fed basically to get the right interest rate policy. Yes, this is the Fed's slowdown.
Bottom line is a tariff is a tax. We pay it. And if they continue doing this with no strategy, it's going to continue to come down on the backs of American families and American farmers.
President Trump also tweeted about recession fears, in part referencing pro-democracy protesters who are taking on the Chinese government in Hong Kong.
At 5:16 new this morning, an autopsy performed on Jeffrey Epstein showed that he, quote, sustained multiple breaks in his neck bones. The Washington Post is reporting that the breaks, including a bone near the Adam's apple, is more commonly broken when someone is strangled. However, source tells the Post that the bone can also break when a person is hanged. The child sex trafficking suspect was found dead in his federal prison cell on Saturday. Investigators are still looking into why guards were not checking on Epstein regularly for several hours before he was found dead.
RTV6 is getting results from members of a dog park dealing with a much bigger problem than owners not picking up after their pets. The gates to the Paul Ruster Dog Park are not working. Lately, they have been keeping the park's members who pay $75 annually outside, or as one resident found out the hard way, locked inside the park. Indy Parks manages the area and has tried different locks without success. When Dan Frankie got locked in the park with his dog Dylan, he called RTV6 for help.
You know, how do you lift a 100-pound dog over the gate? And how do you, as a senior, jump that gate? It gets harder and harder. I finally had to call home. I live a few blocks away and said, honey, bring the key, which is a 6-inch crowbar. And I had to pop it open to get out.
Wow. Well, Indy Parks told RTV6 the gate was malfunctioning because it had been repeatedly hit by something. They are asking residents to report any vandalism to the Parks Department.
Well, tornado sirens were sounded for a short time yesterday in Carroll County, and it was because of this, a funnel cloud spotted near Rossville. But this was not a tornado. The National Weather Service says it was a cold air funnel, which we've seen from time to time. And Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen is here with us, and he has your forecast coming up. But Todd, first, can you talk to us a little bit about what is a cold air funnel?
Yeah, it kind of has the appearance of a tornado, right? So you see it there, it kind of scares you. But a cold air funnel doesn't have any rotation. They barely ever touch the ground. It's just part of a cool pocket of air aloft, and we had a lot of moisture around yesterday. So it looks like a tornado. It's not a tornado because it never touches the ground, or usually doesn't touch the ground. But nonetheless, if you see, you kind of think, yeah, obviously a tornado, and that's why some of those sirens were going off. Now, today we are dealing with some fog out there. Yesterday, all these visibilities up to the north were down below 1 mile. This morning, we're not seeing the visibilities reduced all that much. In Fort Wayne you are, but not here in parts of central Indiana, although they have dropped a little bit in the last hour. So that's something I'll keep an eye on for you, but we're not expecting, again, any widespread, real dense fog throughout most of central Indiana here this morning. Live look at Monument Circle, and it's a very pleasant morning for us. The humidity has come down. The temperature that sits at 65 degrees. Sunrise this morning is at 6:57. If you do see any fog in your neighborhood, as soon as that sun comes up, it's going to be a very thin layer of fog. That sun, it'll burn it off really, really quick, so you won't have to worry about that. But a little cool pocket of air in Crawfordsville down in Greencastle, 59 and 63 respectively. 66 the current temperature in Richmond, 62 as you make your way up into the Peru area. So yesterday we were able to flare up just a few very, very isolated, very light rain showers across parts of the area. Most of that has now pushed off towards the east. It's not completely out of the question once again, especially in some northern locations here, that there could be a quick, very, very light passing shower during the peak heating of the day. If you do see it, it's barely going to wet the grounds, and you can just carry on with your plans. I was out in the Monon yesterday, and there was a little sprinkle that went through, and that was just about it, and it honestly felt good. The ground, again, didn't even get wet, so just kind of that weather pattern that we're in here. Outside of that shower chance, plenty of sunshine today. Temperature's a little bit cooler for our Thursday, 76 degrees by the noon hour, with highs eventually climbing up into the low 80s. Now, Victory Field tonight, a big night because Ben Higgins, Bachelor star, is going to be at Victory Field, so I know all the ladies are excited about that, right? Well, it's all right. You can still go say hi. Temperatures will be in the 70s. Mayor says he has a girlfriend now, but he's had those in the past, too, so you never know what's going to happen. All right, temperatures will fall back down into the 70s. Nonetheless, you can go look at a great baseball game, right? And then overnight tonight, temperatures going down into the 50s and 60s across the area. So enjoy the cooler, less humid air that's going to be in place for the day today, because the heat builds back in for the weekend, and then it's with us. With that heat and the humidity will come a daily chance of some afternoon pop-up storms. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here's a live look right now at your early morning commute. This is I-69 at 106th Street in Fishers. You can see some orange barrels there and construction on the sides of the roads, but everything's pulled out of the travel lanes at this hour, so there's no problems here. Everything looks to be moving along smoothly. Let's take a look right now at our Traffic Now map. No crashes around the area, so let's plan out your drive. Heading in from the east side on westbound I-70, a 10-minute commute, no delays from Post Road to I-65 at the North Split. And over here on the west side of town, making your way through Brownsburg from State Road 267 to the I-465 ramps, it's only a 7-minute drive.
A suspect in a food truck fire, their image captured by a surveillance camera. Coming up at 5:30 this morning, how you can possibly help police catch this man.
And did they take some extra steps to get to the Little League World Series? Up next, what this team of young people are accused of and how their coach is fighting back. It's 5:22. We'll be right back after the break.
Pull from Andy Moore.
Welcome back. Well, the Little League World Series begins today, but not all is well in Little League land. Some critics say one of the teams playing in the World Series cheated to get there.
The Little League team from Barrington, Rhode Island was accused of breaking the rules by a team they beat in the national playoffs. The accusation came from the coach of a New Hampshire Little League team. He says members of the Barrington team were stealing signs, which is against Little League international rules. The coach of the Barrington team, however, says that's not true.
It's actually pretty disgusting, to be honest with you. Barrington Little League prides itself on honesty, integrity, and young boys and girls playing the game of baseball and softball to the best of their ability.
Little League International says it considers the sign stealing matter to be closed. The most famous case of cheating at the Little League World Series was in 2001 when Danny Almonte pitched a perfect game for the team from Bronx. Almonte turned out to be 14 years old, not 12, as the team claimed. So does that mean I can claim myself to be like 25?
It goes the opposite way once you get past, 21 or so, I'd say.
Exactly.
Claim 32 then.
All right. Perfect.
I believe it.
Like that here. All right, outside as you walk out the door. It'll be a great night for baseball or softball or golf or anything outdoors here. Not only, I shouldn't say this evening, but really throughout the entire day. So as you get out the door, the humidity is low this morning. Temperatures are in the 60s. Warmed to about 76 degrees by the noon hour with mostly sunny skies. Then highs today in the low 80s with a mixture of sun and clouds. Very, very comfortable. The heat builds back in by the weekend, so take advantage of today. The time now is 5:27. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes on Good Morning Indiana.
Sponsored by Citizens Energy Group. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
2 people rushed to the hospital following an overnight shooting. The latest on the search for their shooter, straight ahead.
And a Northeast Side family says their apartment is making them sick. This morning, why the health department is now threatening to sue the complex.
And they help us stay cool in the summer and warm in the winter. And this morning, the HOT program helping high school students prepare for careers in the HVAC industry. Thanks for joining us here at 5:30 on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick, and I'm not waking up in Aruba this morning.
I know,
but
sorry.
I'm glad to know the weather will be comparable. It'll be really nice and sunny out there, Todd, and nothing else to say otherwise. Yeah.
No, if you could only have brought the ocean and the palm trees and
some of the tropical fish.
All those fruity drinks you're drinking down there, we'd be in good shape here. All right, as you walk out the door this morning, humidity is low, though. That is the good news. And you'll need to have the sunglasses today from start to finish. You don't really have to worry about the umbrella. There is a very, very small chance of a quick passing shower in northern locations, but it's nothing to warrant to have to carry around the umbrella throughout the entire day. A little bit of patchy fog settling into the Lafayette area near Fort Wayne as well. So it's going to be very, very patchy in northern locations, but there could be some minorly reduced visibility across parts of northern locales. So be aware of that this morning. Otherwise, we're in the 60s for the most part. One more cool spot, Crawfordsville at 59 degrees, but I think that thermometer always runs a little bit cooler than when it's actually happening outside. So the skies are clear across much of the area. We start off mostly sunny for you. We get up to 76 degrees by the noon hour, then turn it partly cloudy throughout the afternoon. Overall, just a very pleasant day for us with a high temperature of 83 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at your drive right now. This is I-465 near Pendleton Pike on the northeast side of town. Traffic here is moving along smoothly. No issues to slow you down. Let's take a look at our Traffic Now map. We just have that closure on the southeast side, but other than that, everything is moving along just fine. Planning out your commute coming in from the southwest side on I-70, a 12-minute drive from Ronald Reagan Parkway to I-65 at the south split. Up here on the northwest side of town, heading southbound down I-65 from the Dogleg at I-865 to the north split. It is a 17-minute commute. Let's take a live look right now at traffic heading into downtown on I-70. This is at West Street. A stalled semi there in the right shoulder, but everything else is moving along just fine. We'll keep a close eye out for any issues that might slow you down.
Breaking overnight, IMPD is looking for the person who shot 2 men in a parking lot at the Park Haven apartment complex. That's near 21st and Franklin Road on the city's east side. The shooting happened just before midnight. Police say 1 man was shot in the ankle and both men were taken to the hospital in stable condition. There's no word this morning on what led up to the gunfire.
A northeast side family at their wits' end this morning. Their apartment has been infested with mice, roaches, and mold. They say the managers won't do anything about it despite at least 2 warnings from the health department. Courtney Holland says that the terrible conditions at New Parkswood Apartments forced her family to vacate their home back in February. She says she first found a mouse last October and had been begging her apartment managers to do something ever since. She says now mold is affecting her children's health.
My son's asthma kept flaring up in February, and I didn't understand why. They said, like, with the feces and the rodent, it leaves something in the air or whatever, and it gets down in the kids' lungs.
Well, we spoke with a regional manager for the apartment complex, and they say this is a confidential matter that's being handled between their management team. After 2 warnings that have gone unanswered, the Marion County Health Department has notified the owner that they'll be back at the complex later today. If repairs are not made, the department says it will sue.
RTV6 is working for you and getting results. Remember when we showed you these pictures from Broad Ripple? It is a turn so tight due to changes made for the Indigo Red Line that vehicle after vehicle had to drive up on the curb to make the turn at College and Broad Ripple Avenues. Indigo tells us they've instructed their construction team to remove a couple of pole dividers to increase the turning radius. We'll continue to monitor that intersection to see if this helps. And it is our mission to work for you. If you don't think you're getting results that you deserve, reach out to us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. It is 5:34, and last school year was difficult for many school districts in the Hoosier State following the tragedy in Fulton County.
And lots of schools and state leaders are putting the focus on stopping drivers from passing those school bus stop arms. That includes Knox County and southwestern portions of our state. North Knox school leaders say that they've put stop arm cameras on every school bus, and they're already catching violators. School officials say 3 days of the school year, and the cameras have already caught 6 violators. School leaders say that's more than some years combined. Students at Pike High School are figuring out how to keep your HVAC system up and running throughout the year.
Through Pike's Career Center, they're getting training to prepare for the HVAC industry. Our Aaron Lish is live showing you how this program is getting students classroom to career ready. And Aaron, tell us exactly what these kids are learning.
Well, right now, we are actually in the RTV6 HVAC system room. And, you know, if anything breaks or anything goes wrong here or even in one of your systems at your homes, high school students, they are learning how to fix them before they even graduate.
Which wire goes where? These Pike High students are learning just that, how to install, operate, and do maintenance work on HVAC systems. And right now, there's a major need for experts in this line of work.
Approximately 300,000 jobs this year are available in this industry.
And there's a variety of positions open in the HVAC industry.
Some of that's new construction work, along with commercial buildings, residential homes, and then service and repair replacement work.
This is a 2-year course that students say others should consider.
This is a great class, and I encourage other people to take it.
Instructors say if you like hands-on work, then this is the path for you.
They like being outside, they like being active, and they're good at problem-solving skills.
Along with dual college credits, they get certifications from EPA and OSHA, which students say gives them confidence for their future after graduation.
Because even if I do go to college, this is a good fallback plan I can go into. I can always go back to it and work for companies because now I have my license in it. And this is a skill for life that I can always use.
And this is a great opportunity for these students. And this industry, it continues to grow. We'll tell you by how much in the next half hour. Back to you in the studio.
Aaron, thank you. Metro Police want to know if you recognize this person accused of setting a food truck on fire on the west side. It happened Sunday morning at India Palace Restaurant next to Lafayette Square Mall. Investigators say the suspect appears to be wearing a shirt with a large bull face on the front. The business owner says another food truck was parked in the very same lot, but it was not set on fire or touched at all.
At 5:37, a public forum to discuss a controversial project in Muncie is canceled. Wales Sustainable Products was going to speak to concerned citizens on August 20th. Well, the company says it needs more time to answer everyone's questions. It plans to open a steel dust recycling plant by the end of next year in the former Borg Warner site along Kilgree Avenue. Many people are worried that pollution and mercury emissions from the plant could be hazardous to their health. A regular city committee meeting is still scheduled for the 21st.
A disease is finding its way to deer in the Hoosier State, and it can be deadly. State conservation officials confirm a case of EHD found in a dead sick deer in Clark County. Epizootic hemorrhagic disease is a viral disease that impacts white-tailed deer when they're bitten by midges, also known as no-see-ums. The DNR says during an EHD outbreak, the loss of deer locally can range from a few to more than 50%. Experts say just how bad this year's outbreak could be is hard to predict.
It's a combination of factors related to the deer itself, to the strain of the virus itself, to what the midges are doing, to the environment. But, in more significant outbreaks, you can have relatively high mortality or death of deer in a local area.
Indiana's last major outbreak was in 2012. EHD can spread to cattle, but not humans. The DNR does track the disease, and they ask that if you see a deer that appears sick or is showing symptoms, report it to them directly. All right, and we are going to send things directly on over to Todd because he has a fantastic forecast for today.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day. It's probably the best weather day of the week simply because it's going to be a little bit cooler than it has been. We should mainly be rain-free, and the humidity is a lot lower as well. So as the kids head off to the bus stop here this morning, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, temperature right around 62 degrees. And then as the kids come home from school, our temperature today tops off right around 83 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds. So all in all, should be in good shape for both going and coming home. And then if you have plans the next couple days, the one change you will notice in our 7-day planning forecast, which I'll show you here in just a few minutes, is we'll start to introduce the daily chance of rain. They're not great rain chances, about 20 to 30% each day through the weekend and eventually into the middle of next week. So that's basically some pop-up storms in the afternoon. Nonetheless, we will have the potential to get some needed rainfall, at least here on a spotty basis in the days ahead. More on that 7-day in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. More teens sent to the hospital with lung problems from vaping. Straight ahead, the new state issuing warnings to those who use e-cigarettes.
Plus, today is former Indiana Senator Dan Coats' last day on the job. After the break, who's expected to fill Coats' role as National Intelligence Director?
And it is 5:40. Here's a live look right now. Your drive on the east side, I-70 at Rural Street and Keystone Avenue. Everything here is moving along up to speed. Traffic is picking up this morning. You can see that by all the headlights out there. I want to wish you a good morning. We'll keep an eye on your morning commute all morning long right here in Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us.
Save at Trelegy.com.
50 years ago today, hundreds of thousands of young people descended onto a farm in Bethel, New York for 3 days of peace and music, ultimately known as Woodstock. The festival featured dozens of artists, including Jimi Hendrix, Carlos Santana, and the Grateful Dead. So many people showed up that fences came down, the freeway jammed, and the concert became free.
National Intelligence Director Dan Coats is leaving his post today, along with Deputy National Intelligence Director Sue Gordon. President Trump says that National Counterterrorism Center Director Joseph McGuire will take over as the acting director. He must still be confirmed by the Senate if nominated. And the 2020 Democratic field is getting a little bit smaller. Sources say that John Hickenlooper will end his presidential bid later today. A former Colorado governor who struggled to break out of the crowded field has not yet decided on if he'll run for Senate. If he does, he would be challenging Senator Cory Gardner.
Western Japan is experiencing a powerful typhoon Kroza to make landfall on Thursday, according to the country's national news agency Kyodo News. This is the season's 10th typhoon. The National Weather Agency is warning residents of mudslides, flooding, and potential record rainfall. Airline and railway services have already been reduced and in some cases canceled, which will disrupt many people traveling for Japan's Bon holiday. Here at home, a very different scene. Things awfully quiet today, Todd.
Yeah, and that is the good news. We can enjoy a nice day today with low humidity, lots of sunshine, and temperatures that I'll show you will be pretty seasonables. And I think today's probably the best day of the week. We kind of got into that nice weather pattern yesterday evening. Maybe if you were out for dinner or for a late night walk around the neighborhood, you noticed that humidity drop. So there's plenty of sunshine throughout the day today, but there are warmer days ahead as we'll start to build back in the heat and humidity heading into the weekend. But our average high this time of year is 84 degrees. Forecast high today is 83. Yesterday, we were able to sneak all the way up to 89 degrees. So yesterday was really warm. It won't be quite as hot here across the area for the day today. So 65 degrees, that's the current temperature right now. That dew point's in the low 60s. That's a comfortable number. That's where we stay throughout the entire day today. So temperatures this morning, a little cooler as you work your way from Lafayette to Crawfordsville to Greencastle with highs, or current temperatures rather, in the upper 50s to low 60s. 62 in Peru, a little warmer off to the east. Richmond, you're currently at 66 degrees, but everybody's enjoying clear skies. There's a little bit of patchy fog that's trying to develop from Lafayette over towards the Hartford City area, but it really shouldn't be all that widespread or as dense as it was yesterday morning when we had all those school delays out there. And the heavier rain showers continue to be up to our north in Michigan. So throughout the day today, I can't say that our rain chances are completely zero, but if you do see anything at all, it is just one of those very quick passing sprinkles or very brief showers that'll rotate through the area during the peak heating of the day. It is nothing to cancel any plans over. And again, most of us will not see these showers as they move through. It's just kind of a little unsettled. And then as you build up during the peak heating of the day, we have the potential for one of these showers to just kind of sneak into the area. But otherwise, a mixture of sun and clouds, 76 by the noon hour, with our high temperature topping off today right around 83 degrees. Tonight will be an absolutely beautiful night to be at the Indiana State Fair or anything else across the area, with temperatures that'll be in the 70s. So get out there and enjoy. And then tomorrow morning, how about this? Upper 50s in outlying areas, about 62 in the city. So you can give the air conditioners a little bit of a break before we start to build back in the heat. Tomorrow's kind of that transition day. You notice the humidity come up a little bit. Temperatures a little bit warmer for the day tomorrow. And then as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, we're right around 90 degrees. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and even into Wednesday next week. And with the warmth and with the humidity, there'll be the daily chance of just some isolated thunderstorms flaring up mainly during the peak heating of the day. The time now is 5:48. Let's get another update on the roadways this Thursday morning. Here's Lauren.
Hey, Todd, there's no crashes around the metro area right now, so that is great news. So I just want to remind you about this closure we have for construction here. Eastbound, northbound I-465 between I-65 on the south side, I-70 on the east side. This is set to last through August 24th, so we've almost gotten through the first week of that closure. Here's your detours. You'll have to head through downtown on 65 and 70, and that includes if you're driving on I-74 trying to get to the east side. Let's take a live look right now from our NDOT traffic camera up in Fishers, I-69 here at 106th Street. Lots of headlights up that way. Traffic is picking up this morning. We'll keep an eye out for any delays and let you know about them.
Investigators are now looking into almost 24 reports that vaping may be damaging teens' lungs in 3 states. Minnesota is the latest after Wisconsin and Illinois. In Minnesota, the health department went as far to issue a warning. It said both nicotine and marijuana-based products were linked to 4 cases of teens going to hospitals with lung injuries. The symptoms seem like common respiratory infections, but they don't clear up. Both doctors and advocates against teen nicotine use worry about the long-term effects.
This is exposure for a short period of time, relatively speaking, and really severe early injury that's worrisome.
It's like a habit. They're ingesting so much of it, and we've seen heard a couple of cases where it's called Nick sick, where students are just passing out in school.
In some cases, the damage is so bad the teens need a ventilator. The FDA recently issued a warning after it says some people using e-cigarettes were having seizures. The majority of those cases were children or young adults.
At 5:49, Illinois just became the first state to make access to the EpiPen law. The new law starts next year. It forces insurance companies to cover EpiPens for kids. EpiPens help offset severe allergic reactions. The cost has been controversial after the makers of the original pen raised the price dramatically a few years ago. There are cheaper generic versions out there now. The new Illinois law requires insurance to cover the total cost of EpiPen injectors regardless of how a person's individual plan is structured. Now, experts say there are some shortages of that generic version, and that's because there's a spike in demand with all the kids going back to school.
A major announcement is set for later today at a nearby amusement park. After the break, why the announcement has the attention of people across the world.
And new urgent care centers will soon open right here in central Indiana. You can download the RTV6 app right now to read more about where the new clinics are expected to set up shop. It is 5:50 here on your Thursday morning. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
In stock at Andy Moore Toyota.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time right now, 5:53 on your Thursday. Here's a live look at your drive on the northwest side. I-465 and West 71st Street. No problems here as you're heading out the door.
A California couple has been wearing matching outfits for nearly 7 decades. Rosemary and Francis Klontz have been married for almost 68 years. They say they've coordinated outfits almost every day. Francis says he lets his bride do the styling, and it's not just their fashions that blend well. The adorable couple are singing chaplains that perform at church, hospitals, and sometimes just around the house. Maybe that is the key to a happy marriage, Lauren.
Oh, they are so cute. I love them. Well, man's efforts to put some sightseeing into his grandma's life has snowballed into an epic and adorable nationwide journey. Brad Ryan is taking his grandmother Joy on the adventure of a lifetime, and it all started when Joy expressed regret for not taking more trips during her lifetime. So Brad took her on a trip to the Smoky Mountains, and then he started a GoFundMe page to visit more national parks, and now they're on their way to seeing all 61 of them. Their adventure is going viral with thousands of people following Brad's Instagram account, Grandma Joy's Road Trip.
Uh-oh, I hope my grandma
of her.
I hope my grandma Gina doesn't get any ideas. I don't have that many PTO days.
I know.
Ready for more thrills? We are just hours away from knowing what the next major addition to pop up at Kings Island will be. The Cincinnati Area Amusement Park has been teasing the ride, codenamed Project X, for weeks now. Our sister station in Cincy flew across an area steel fabricator and found massive amounts of roller coaster track ready to be assembled. Theme park insiders say the new ride will likely be a Giga Coaster. If their predictions are correct, it will only be the 7th such ride in the world. The big announcement is scheduled for 10 o'clock tonight. And Todd, we were kind of predicting earlier that maybe there's a light up factor or glow in the dark, something like that. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Either that or maybe they just want to send fireworks off for the announcement or something like that.
Yeah, and the skies will be clear tonight, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And short drive. So if they build it, I will go. Absolutely. All right, outside right now, skies are clear. A little bit of patchy fog trying to settle in northern locations. Shouldn't be a huge deal for you this morning. Temperatures nice and comfortable. 63 in Bloomington, 65 in Indianapolis. We're on our way up to a high of 83 degrees here later on this afternoon. Any patchy fog you do encounter this morning should burn off very, very quickly. And then we're just left with partly cloudy skies throughout the day today. Get out there and enjoy, because starting tomorrow and then especially heading into the weekend, the heat and the humidity build back into the forecast.
Todd, thank you. A couple says they were alarmed to learn a state lawmaker was in their neighborhood claiming to be law enforcement. Ahead at 6 o'clock, Call 6 investigates, unveils new details in the case.
Plus, looking to grab a friend and go to the Luke Bryan concert? Well, we have not one, but 2 chances for you to win coming up in the next hour of Good Morning Indiana. So just keep watching for your cue to call in. We'll be right back.